Hello everyone and welcome to this Kotlin tutorial. We're about to create a recycler view. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to create a layout because if you think about a recycler view, think of it as a recycler view just allows us to display a list. Now each list or each item in that list has a design, and when we code for one design, it applies to every single item is going to be in that list. So we need to create a design. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my resource folder. I'm going to go to my layout, and then I'm going to right click on it, click on new, and then click on layout resource file. And we're going to create a simple layout example. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. Now, once I've selected this, it will create for me an XML file of a layout. Now, in my layout, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change it from a constraint layout to a linear layout. I'm going to make the orientation a vertical. And then in my layout, usually, this is just our simple, this is how each item in our list is going to look like. So what I'm going to do in this case is in my simple layout example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a text view, which is going to be of a username, and then a button, right? Now, let's imagine that we have 10 of these in a list, 10 of these in the list. So you see that each item in that list would be a username and a button, a username and a button. So that's what we're creating at the moment. So I'm going to call it txt username, and then I'm going to say btn edit user. And then for my button, I'm just going to say edit user. And I am done with my layout of what each item should look like in my recycler view. Now I'm going to go to my activity main. Now inside my activity main, I'm going to add a recycler view because remember that when our application first loads up, it's going to show our activity main, and then it needs to show a list. Now that list is going to come from this recycler view. So I'm going to, I'm going to change from a constraint layout to a linear layout. Let me just go back because I think I've deleted too many. Linear layout. Just put linear layout there. And then I'm going to make my orientation a vertical. And then I'm going to delete this text view. And I'm just going to put onto the screen a recycler view. And in my code, I'm going to call my recycler view ID. I'm going to call it RV list. Now, what I have here is when I first load up my application, the first page obviously will show the main activity because that's what I've set it as. The intent filter for the main activity is what I've set it to be. Once it loads up this, it will show a recycler view. Now, in my recycler view, I need to create an adapter, which is going to bind some data to the list of views I'm going to have. So if I have 10 items in my list view, I need to have, obviously the data is going to match up to it. So I need to create something called a custom adapter. Now, to create a custom adapter, we're going to have to create a class. So I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to click on Kotlin class and I'm going to say custom adapter. Now, my custom adapter is going to have, this is where we're going to now write our code to bind our view to the data that we're going to pass in. But first of all, what we need to do is in our custom adapter, we know that we're going to pass in either a list or a string or an array of strings or a list, because a list view is going to have a list of things. It can either be an array list or it can be an array of strings. But for this case, I'm going to use an array of strings. So I'm going to do private val. I'm going to call this a data set. And then I'm going to pass in an array of strings. Great. So what I have here is I am just creating my custom adapter. But in order to do that, I need to actually extend the RecyclerView adapter to get access to some methods in order for me to make this custom adapter into a RecyclerView adapter. So what I need to do is I need to extend the RecyclerView. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write RecyclerView. I'm going to look for the RecyclerView dot adapter. So once you start to type it in, we give the adapter. And inside these greater than and less than, I'm going to pass in the name of my class dot view holder.